Hello again, friends, and welcome to another segment here on Doc G's Wine and Spirits Review. So first of all, I'd like to say welcome to 2024 and a new year of exciting and new and updates on many of the wine and spirits that are coming your way. I was looking back over when I actually started this whole adventure, and I'm in my fourth year, so I would have to say this is a hobby that I'm going to just keep doing until I can't do it anymore. I love talking, and I especially love talking about wine and spirits and all the things that go along with them. So I know I'm well over 100 videos now into the fourth year, and I can't wait to get started on this year. So for our first episode of 2024, I thought I'd do a little bit of backtracking, so to speak. If you remember, at the end of 2023, I chronicled for you a visit that my wife and I and 7 of our friends made to the West Coast, to the Willamette Valley, just south of Portland, Oregon. And I showed you where we were, talked about the different wineries, but the one thing that I haven't done with you yet, which I'm planning to do today, is highlight the actual wines that we found in Oregon in the Willamette Valley. They are fantastic. I can tell you that of all the couples that went, we all joined one club, and I've already, I hate to say it, have gone through quite a few of the wines that we purchased at the wineries in the Willamette Valley. So what I'd like to do for you today is highlight a few of the wines, talk a little bit about the wineries. I'll actually post some pictures from the places that we visited. We visited 9 wineries in total. As you can see, I only have 4 bottles here on the table to give you some highlights of what the Willamette Valley is all about. So let me talk about, my glass is empty. So before we do that, let me pour this first one. I'll talk about it in a minute. But I haven't properly toasted this year in this segment. So cheers and welcome to today's segment on wines from the Willamette Valley. Cheers. That's really good. I'll get to that in a minute. So let's talk about the Willamette Valley. The Willamette Valley is an area, there's a Willamette River. It's just south of Portland, Oregon, and it is a huge, huge wine area. I think there are some over 700 wineries, and I can't even remember all of the different AVAs. There are specific areas like the McMinnville AVA, the Dundee AVA, the Yamhill Carlton AVA, the Eola Hills AVA, and I'll point them out if any of these wines are from them. I don't really want to go too in-depth into the actual area. I just wanted to give you an idea of the expansiveness of the Willamette Valley, and should you choose to go, I would highly recommend that you plan your trip in advance and look for the specific wineries that you might want to visit, because they are truly spread out all over the Willamette Valley. So with that said, I want to talk about just a brief review of the grapes that really thrive and are important in the Willamette Valley. This is not an exhaustive list, but I'm just going to talk about the highlights. First of all, and I'm going to start with red, Pinot Noir. The Willamette Valley is known for its Pinot Noir, but it is also, the Pinot Noirs are fantastic. They're all different types and varieties, and depending on the AVA where you get it or the area that you get it, it could have a little bit of a different nuance than others. The other Pinot grapes do very well in the Willamette Valley as well. Along with the Pinot Noir, the Pinot Gris grape, Pinot Grigio in Italian, does very well. And a lot of people go, oh, well, Pinot Grigio, but Pinot Gris in Oregon is world class, I'm telling you. They also do, some of the wineries out there do a good job with Pinot Blanc. I happen to have some. I don't have it here on the serving table today, because again, I'm trying to just give you the highlights of, they actually do Riesling very well. Some of the wineries have started to explore Riesling in the Willamette Valley as well. Rosés are all over the place. Every winery has its own rosé, and they're generally rosés of Pinot Noir. So if you love Pinot Noir, imagine a Pinot Noir Rosé, which I happen to love very much. So, and the third grape that, believe it or not, does very well, and you might not be surprised due to the similarity of the climate in Burgundy, is Chardonnay. The Chardonnays from the Willamette Valley are absolutely wonderful, and I have one here on the table. So what I'd like to do for you now is drink our way across the Willamette Valley through these wines. So let me start with our first wine. The first wine that I have featured for you today, and it's in the glass now, is a Pinot Gris. This Pinot Gris is a 2022 Elk Cove Vineyards. I'll post a picture of the beautiful, beautiful vineyard. And Elk Cove is in Gaston, Oregon, which is maybe an hour and 15 minutes from Portland. All these are very close to Portland. This is 100% estate grown, and these vineyards stretch from Oregon's Yamhill, Carlton hillsides to the peaks of the Chehalem Mountains. So this Pinot Gris will pair with just about anything that you would pair with white wines, light cheeses, white meats. A little bit of apple on the nose, nice and crisp. A little bit of medium body. Wow, that's really, really very good. So if you're out shopping and you want to try to find, if you can find this Elk Cove, I believe they carry it in Total Wine. I have yet to see it in Pennsylvania. You might be able to find it online somewhere. But I can tell you that there's another winery, which I'm going to talk about later, that I know sells it in PA for my PA friends, and that's Lang, L-A-N-G-H-E, or L-A-N-G-E. And I'll talk about the Lang Winery in a minute. I sent you a little video clip from there back in November. So the Lang Pinot Gris is fantastic as well. It's available in Pennsylvania. There's also a Firesteed. We visited that winery. We visited a total of 9 wineries. Firesteed Pinot Gris, I know, is available in Pennsylvania, and it's rather inexpensive, and it's very good. All of the Pinot Gris that we tasted, no one complained and said no, they didn't like it. So there you have it. And on a nice screw cap there, your Elk Cove 2022 Estate Pinot Gris. Voila. It is super. That is very good. So let me move that aside and bring in our second wine to take you through the Willamette Valley. This is actually the first winery that we visited. As soon as we rolled out of the airport, this was an unintended visit. We actually, if I have to say, a couple of us visited 10 wineries. We visited this winery by an invite from one of the friends on the trip, had a niece who was friends with the people who own this winery. Nice family-run winery, and they did a full tasting for us. And of course, we wound up buying some of their wines. So I have for you today on the table a 2021 Scenic Valley Farms Chardonnay. Now I know Scenic Valley does not distribute far and wide. If you find them on the web, and I can post for you, I'll hashtag them. They will ship to PA, because that's how we did it. Honestly, we didn't bring any wine home in our suitcase. All of the wines that we have here came via shipment. But you can find Oregon wines. They are distributed pretty far and wide in Pennsylvania and throughout different Total Wines across the country. So this Scenic Valley Farms wine is from Gervais, Oregon, which again is about 45 minutes. It's out in farm country, south of Portland. And this was aged in oak barrels. Let's pour it and see how Oregon Pinot Noir Chardonnay is. Not much of it on the nose. Chardonnays from Oregon are very special. This is not a big Chardonnay. This one, they're basically small batch. We actually used Oregon oak to make sure they're Chardonnay. It's very soft, it's very rich. It's not that big bomb that you get from those old style Chardonnays. And there are other wineries. So if you can get your hands, part of my point here today is to let you know that if you can get your hands on some Oregonian Chardonnay, try it. You really can't go wrong, and you can do Oregon wines at a really nice price point. Some of the wines, their reserves and at the wineries are a little bit salty, but I'll be honest with you, they're worth it if you want to have a special wine. So let's move the Scenic Valley Farms Chardonnay aside, and let's go now. Let's change colors. See the beautiful bottle here, and this is from that winery that I mentioned to you a couple minutes ago called Lang Estate. Lang specializes in great Pinot Noir, great Pinot Gris, great Rosé, and believe it or not, they have, all of these wineries also have their version of a nice sparkling. I hate to tell you, I would have saved you one, but I drank all my sparklings from Oregon over the holiday because I love to have them. So you'll have to wait for another time for me to sample a Oregonian sparkling wine, but they were fantastic. So let me talk about this one. This is a 2022 Rosé of Pinot Noir from Dundee Hills from Lang Winery. This is the very first winery that we visited all together as a group. The first day when we visited Scenic Valley Farms, not everyone had arrived yet. So this, again, Oregon is really big on the screw caps. Believe it or not, this one's giving me a hard time. There we go. So let's take that off. Let's pour. Beautiful color. Let's drink, and then we'll talk. Beautiful floral, cherry, strawberry, berry bomb. Oh, wow. Outside of having had this at the winery, I hadn't tried this since. I can't believe I let this one sit that long. So let me talk about the wine from the Dundee Hills in Oregon. Lang Estate Winery. This is the 2022 Dundee Hills Rosé of Pinot Noir. It's a blend of different Pinot Noirs. It's been fermented in different vessels. They actually did a blend here of some that they aged in concrete, which is becoming very popular again, stainless steel, and some neutral French oak. And it says, the result is a wine that offers layered complexity, a nose of tart cherries, rose petals. I told you that, I didn't read this in advance. The floral and pomegranate, orange zest, and baking spice. I get all that. I wouldn't have guessed it, but once you hear it, you go, yes. Vibrant acid backbone and elegant and refined. It is just meant to be enjoyed across the seasons. Well, it's snowing out right now in my neck of the woods. So here's to the snow, and here's to this great Rosé of Pinot Noir. Wow. That's actually got some body and weight on it for a rosé. That is absolutely fantastic. So let me set that one aside, and we'll go to our finale. So this bottle of wine, I may have actually featured in another spot, but I actually got to visit this winery as well. Every one of these wines that I'm tasting, that's one of the things that makes one of these spots really a lot of fun. I can say I was there. I was literally there where they made the wine. So on our trip, one of the wines, I believe it was on day 2 of the 3 days that we visited wineries, we stopped at a winery called Solena Estate. And this is their Pinot Noir from the Willamette Valley. Solena is in, I forget the name of the town. It was in Dundee, Oregon. Very, very important place in the wine areas. There's 3 places that you want to focus on. Let me go back. Newburgh, Dundee, and McMinnville. You go to those 3 towns and they're all doable in a day or two. You're going to drink some of the best wines in the world. So let me pour this 2021 Solena Pinot Noir. And these guys are pretty serious. They harvested this in September of 2021. It's 100% Pinot Noir, 100% sourced from the Willamette Valley. And they say notes of black cherry, sweet leather, marionberry, and oak spice. So let's see. The leather that comes out of that, the sweet, it smells like sweet leather. The baking spices are definitely there. This is a wine to be savored. Wow. Nice little tannin on the finish too. Not too bad, but you really get that's the most spice I've tasted on a Pinot Noir in a long time. This is a wonderful wine. True confession, I had actually secured some of this wine before I ever went to Oregon. But when I drank it, I made it a point I was going to go to this winery. So this is one of the wineries, because we know we can get this wine. We decided not to join their club, but we know we can get this Solena Pinot Noir I get it through Wine Access, so it's readily available. You're probably not going to find it in PA wine and spirit shops, and I don't know if Total Wine carries it or not. You can check that out on your own. So there you have it. That's our first segment for 2024 here in early January. It's a little bit of a snowy day here, so I figured I'd take some time out, relax a little bit, sip a little wine, and share a little time with all of you. So I don't know where all of you are, but I think the majority of you are somewhere where it's probably cold. So all I want to say to you is stay warm, stay safe. You might want to crank up your snowblower depending on where you live, and enjoy the snow. We haven't had snow around these parts for a long time, so everybody's kind of losing their mind today. But really, I don't even think there's more than an inch or two here just yet. But it's supposed to warm up, and we'll let that go. So with that said, I'm going to go back to this Pinot Gris because I think that was my favorite wine here on the table. And I love this big glass. So I will say to you, cheers, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.